It seems to start with a fever, followed by a dry cough. After a week, shortness of breath means some people need to go to hospital. A small percentage don't survive. Thousands of new cases of the coronavirus are being reported each day, but the World Health Organization says the outbreak can be contained. Others say it could become a global pandemic. In this week's Impact Minds, we're asking, can it be contained, or do we need to think about this virus in a different way? Well, to discuss this, I'm joined here in the studio by David Hills. David is a Senior Director at ARC Workplace Risk, which is helping businesses here to prepare for the virus. In our Paris bureau is Vittoria Colizza, Research Director at INSERM, that's the French National Institute of Health and Medical Research, and Vittoria's just published a paper on the preparedness of Africa. Vittoria, to bring you in from Paris, do you think that it is right to talk in terms of containing the virus, or should we be shifting our emphasis?
I think in terms of preparedness, we should be ready for something that evolves. This scenario at the moment, it's very hard to make scenario analysis at this moment because the situation can evolve very rapidly. So we saw a number of cases in China that were reported by Chinese authorities to decrease, but at the same time, experts are afraid that this number may increase once again because of people going back to work. So clearly, I think we need to be prepared for a different shift in the epidemic evolution.
David, we are going to hear more from our other experts about the fact this virus may just stay with us. It may not be something that can be eradicated. You're talking to companies about being prepared, and it's always about getting ahead of it, isn't it?
Yep, very much so. I think the major issue that most of our clients have is that they need to actually start looking at resources and, more importantly, information technology. Home working and self-isolation is a way that we're going to have to deal with this. We shouldn't be talking about how we contain it. We have to accept the fact that it's a part of our daily life now. This isn't the first, and it's not going to be the last. So we're going to have to start to plan.
You're talking about putting quite a lot of resources in to enable that to happen as efficiently as possible.
Exactly, and large businesses are actually, well set up to actually do that. Smaller businesses don't have those resources, so smaller businesses start to have to look at how they actually undertake home working arrangements. But it's not just about that, it's about how you also manage people when they come back to work after they've gone through self-isolation. So it's not just about home working, it's about managing the return as well. So actually making sure that all of your information technology and having appropriate software platforms in place to actually support that particular process.
Vittoria, I see you nodding there. If we're looking globally, which areas do you think are at highest risk right now of their own outbreaks?
Well, clearly we have to put two factors in this analysis. One is the risk of importation that can be evaluated based on the infected areas now in China. And then the other one is also the type of response that countries can provide. Let's say we performed this study looking at Africa in particular because of the weakness of its healthcare frameworks in several different countries. And for example, there, what happens is that we are able to identify countries which are at highest risk of importation. These were, for example, top three were Egypt, Republic of South Africa, and Algeria. At the same time, ranking inside the continent, they are also appear to be among the most prepared to handle the outbreak. On the other hand, you have a layer of different countries in the continent which are at moderate risk of importation but have really high variation in their preparedness and high vulnerability.
Jennifer, thank you very much. We will leave it there. Jennifer, Vittoria, David, thank you so much for bringing your expertise to our debate.